What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of On the Ropes podcast. Today we'll be talking and breaking down UFC 307 going down this weekend, October 5th in Salt Lake City, Utah, home of the Leon Edwards head kick on Kamaru Usman. So we might see another head kick, another Pereira head kick. But yeah, guys, before we get started though, this month of October is stacked month for combat sports, man. It starts off October 5th with UFC 307. The very next week, October 12th, we got Federer versus Bivol for the light heavyweight undisputed championship. The week after that, we got the return of Francis Ngannou making his PFL debut, taking on PFL heavyweight champion Pereira. And the week after that, to end the month, October 26th, UFC 308, Abu Dhabi, Max Holloway versus Ilya for the championship. So this month is stacked with fights, man, and starting it off with 307, Alex Pereira versus Rountree. Alright, starting off the night, we got a banger-ass fight to start. We got Kevin Holland versus Roman at 13-3. Very, very good guy, and you know, a guy like Kevin Holland who's like that guy that really gatekeeps that division. So we're gonna see if he's real or not.
He's coming off a good W, man, back in UFC 302, and he's 3 for 2 in his last 5 fights. I think he can get over this fight, man, put him back in that winning column, maybe get a little top 10. I don't know, man. I think Kevin Holland has a good chance of making a run back in this division. His division is really stacked, but I mean, that game, man, he has a ground game, he has a good stand-up, and I hope he gets it done with a knockout. I'm watching for a knockout, man.
Kevin Holland knockout? I like that, man. Kevin Holland, a huge fan favorite, bro. I feel like Kevin Holland has one of the best roles in the UFC, man. Win or lose, the fans are always going to be behind him, man. He always gets pay-per-view fights, man. It's rare to see him not on a card. And every time he is on the card, he puts a banger-ass fight. He's great on the mic. So a Kevin Holland fight is always a great way to start a UFC card. Alright, if you guys didn't remember, Roman did just fight at UFC 303 when he came off a short notice fight against Anthony Smith, which was a fucking snooze fest. I don't know if you remember that. That was like a sparring session. But it was a fucking short notice fight. He did end up getting a dub. This is a guy that was fighting at light heavyweight, moved down to middleweight, caught a couple dubs at middleweight. And it seems to be like this is his division compared to the light heavyweight division. So we'll see how he goes against Holland. This is basically, like I said, one of these guys will enter that top 10 and start making a run. I feel like this is the fight to start it. Alright, next fight, we got Kayla Harrison taking on Vieira or some shit like that. Kayla Harrison coming over from PFL. She made her debut UFC 300, beating Holly Holm. Her opponent also has a victory over Holly Holm, so they both share that. But her opponent did lose a Penton, the champion, the current champion. So this might be a fight to set up a number 1 contender match, and I feel like it definitely is the winner getting that title shot between these two.
Yeah, man, the women's division bantamweight, it's a little bit of a snooze fest, man. I mean, Vieira coming off a W 14 months ago, man. We'll see how she brushes off the dust in the ring, man, against a great competitor like Kayla Harris. I think this is an easy Kayla Harris, man. Bet the house on this one, man. She's gonna run this division, run the UFC, run the women's division. I mean, I don't see anyone stopping her, man. And we'll see what she got, man. What do you think?
Facts. I feel like this is the lock of the card. This and Alex Pereira are like the most locks of this card, and I feel like he said like Kayla Harrison to get how many 14 months?
14 months.
14-month layoff and having to go fight Kayla Harrison, guys, would be the worst fucking thing possible. So I feel like Kayla's gonna run through her. Like he said, she's running through that division and she's running through the UFC women. I can see her going double, triple champ, bro. She can move up as much as she wants. Her wrestling is OP, man. And in the women's game, having great wrestling like that, she's gonna be too hard to match up with, man. Like Kayla Harrison's gonna become maybe even a 3-time champion at the same time.
I agree.
Alright, next fight. We got a banger fight. We got Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. This is basically a old legend versus a new up-and-coming fighter. So this is huge for Mario. If he's able to take down a legend like Jose Aldo, it could really put him into that top 5, man. Mario is coming off a 6-fight win streak right now. He's on fire. He got 3 subs, 3 decisions, so his ground game is very, very good. He also comes out of the Sugar camp. You know, he fought on the 299 when Sugar won the championship, and we had Mario on our parlay, so we paid the bills. Shout out my boy Mario. But yeah, man, an up and coming fighter versus a legend, 6-fight win streak, and you know he could be getting into that title content real soon, man.
Oh yes, this fight right here I think puts him in the top 5, especially after the mix-up with Corey Sandhagen losing to Umar, Murad beating Sugar. Like that division's getting a little bit crazy, but I think Mauro Bautista can sneak his way in the top 5, man, after beating Aldo. But Aldo is not easy to beat, man. I mean, he lost 2 years ago to the champ Murad, but in a close decision. And I think if he brings the action tomorrow, man, I think he can really give him a good fight. I call this fight going to decision, and I think Aldo takes it. Just because I feel like Aldo's back, more hungry. So is Mario, but man, I don't know. I just like the legends, man. I gotta respect the
Facts. The experience is probably gonna pay dividend for sure. So it's the youth versus experience here. So we're gonna see which one comes up on top, youth or experience. But I got Aldo as well, man. I got Aldo.
Yeah, man, you got to, man. Just came off a good W back in UFC 301 not too long ago. He's fresh. He's coming strong, man. I gotta see what happens Saturday night.
Good to see him back, man. He had a little short retirement, did a little boxing. Now he's back in the UFC, man. Love to see it. Shout out. Alright, now we're moving on to the co-main event of the evening. We got Raquel defending her title versus former champion Pena. Pena won her title when she beat Amanda Nunes, which is very rare company to be in. She ended up losing to Amanda in the rematch. Amanda ended up retiring, giving Raquel the chance to fight for the undisputed title versus Silva. She ended up winning it, the vacant belt, and now she is the full-time champion, making her first defense versus former champion Juliana Pena. This is a great fight, man. Women's fights, you know, a lot of people hate on them for, you know, obvious reasons, but this is gonna be a good fight, man. Like I said, Pena beat Amanda Nunes. Raquel's a champ, so this is gonna be a fire fight, man.
Expect a bunch of ground game, man. That's all I'm gonna say. 'Cause I know Pena, man, she can swing, but her ground game is crazy, man. And Raquel, we kind of saw it against that Silva fight. Her ground game isn't that good, and I think Pena's gonna take it to the ground and submit her. I think a finish, round 2. Mark it. Look it.
Oh, I really hope it is a finish. Alright, moving on to the main event of the evening. We got Bellingham. Shop the jerseys. Lincoln Bob, go shop. Bellingham jerseys, Vinny Jr., M.A. Mbappe. Real Madrid is on a hot streak right now. Lincoln Bob, go shop. We got all flavors, as well as Barcelona leading the La Liga right now. So y'all go shop. Barcelona, Real Madrid, La Clásico, happening this Sunday, October 27th. It's going down. Make sure to shop. Alright guys, moving on to the main event of the evening. We got Alex Pereira defending his light heavyweight championship versus Rountree. 5-round banger. Who you got?
Oh man, I got Pereira by knockout, round 2, man.
Ooh, round 2 Pereira knockout, man. Hey, the best bet to place UFC 307 is an Alex Pereira by knockout, man. Whatever the odds are on that, put the house on it. Pereira by knockout. You know Pereira gets the job done every fucking time he steps in the ring, and that's why he is currently the UFC's best fighter, man. He's carrying the fucking company on his back. Showed out UFC 300, saved 303, and now fighting 307. 3 fights in 1 year. That's what you call an actual champ, man. And this fight was him getting a rest. Yeah. After 303, he's like, I need a little rest before I come back. Now 307, right back. But with that being said, Pereira's going to fight Rountree, man. You know, he was scheduled to fight on UFC 303 co-main event against Jamal Hill, the same fight Pereira and Jury in 303. But he had to pull out due to popping dirty in the drug test. He popped dirty against Hill, had to pull out, then Hill pulled out due to injury. But man, how you get popped drug test and then get a title fight right away, man? Rountree got lucky, man.
I'll tell you why.
Tell him why.
Rountree's on a 5-fight win streak, man. He hasn't lost since 2021. Mark the day, man. 4 of those coming by knockout, man.
Yeah.
He's coming in strong. I think if he got to stay on the feet, man, I don't think he doesn't wrestle. Obviously, they both don't wrestle. Only 0 takedowns for Rountree, right?
Yeah, 0 takedowns for Rountree, and Alex Pereira 1 takedown their entire UFC career. So this fight is going to be on the ground. They're going to be banging it out.
It's going to be on the feet, man. I call this, man, Pereira knockout special, added to the highlight reel. But you never know. Rountree might hit him with that nice little, that right. He got some power, man, as we saw in his last fight against Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is a amateur, but anyways, he got laid out with that 1 punch, curled up like a baby. But I think Rountree has a possible to catch that chin on Pereira, but I think he's too slow, man. like in the training camp videos I've seen of him and the videos I've seen, he just looks slow and too big, too short, kind of stocky. I think Pereira's gonna knock that head loose, that head kick.
Oh, you think a head
I
kick?
think
Kind of head kick. If y'all watched our last podcast, 303, when we did the Pereira jury, he actually called it. He said, if Jury don't keep his hands up, this fight's gonna be over early in the second, and 10 seconds into the second round, it was knocked out.
That was crazy, right?
Hands down, got knocked out. And I think it's gonna be the same thing, man. If Rountree doesn't keep his hands up, everyone got to keep their hands up against Pereira. And it's gonna be hard to swing with him because Pereira's left hook, counter left, is gonna be dangerous. And I just feel like it's gonna be a counter. He's gonna catch him slipping, man.
Yeah.
Like he said, he's slow. Pereira's super, super fast, man. And I just feel like no one in that division could bang with Pereira, man.
But what's next for Pereira?
Exactly. What is next? This is what I think is next. This is what I think should happen and what's gonna happen. All right, going down in November, we got John Jones versus Stipe for the UFC heavyweight title. Rumors have it that's going to most likely be John Jones and Stipe's both last fight. They're most likely going to retire. They're going to get the bag and retire. John Jones is old. He don't really got to do much. You know what I mean? He got his heavyweight belt. He could have retired after that. So, with that being said, I feel like John Jones will retire in November, leaving the interim champion, Tom Aspinall, upgrading him to actual undisputed heavyweight championship in his first title defense, early 2025. Alex Pereira, super fight for the heavyweight title.
I think that's definitely the call, man. Aspinall, he talks a big game. He says he wants to fight John Jones, but man, that's never gonna happen, man. Let's be honest. Like he just said, John Jones, this is his last fight. I don't see him facing Aspinall, not one bit. I wouldn't do it if I was John Jones. Fuck that. Why risk it? And for Aspinall, I think for him to really put his name in the legacy with the legends is beat Alex Pereira.
Yeah, especially on the run that Pereira's on right now.
I think beating Alex Pereira right now is better than beating John Jones right now.
I like that.
A almost 4-year-old John Jones compared
Well, if Pereira's older by
Pereira
10
is
days.
older?
Yeah.
Oh,
One of them's older by 10 days, which is crazy. I know, yeah, it's kind of crazy. But John Jones has more MMA years, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Being in the UFC, Pereira was kickboxing, but you know, not as high level as being.
but
in the
Pereira's
UFC.
still in his prime. Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the crazy part.
He's
Pereira,
barely in his prime.
he's
So
in
for someone to beat someone in their prime with a fucking stat line that Pereira has in the UFC, man, for Aspinall to go out and get it done.
I would put Aspinall. I mean, in my opinion, like I said, the pound for pound best right now is Alex Pereira.
Yeah.
You know, we got activity. We got he ain't dunking no one. I feel like Pereira's the best fighter right now. And I feel like like you said, Tom wants to really put his name out there. Like he's been trying to get that John Jones fight, get that Pereira fight, man. A guy moving up in weight, so you do got the advantage there.
Yeah.
So you know,
Even though Alex Pereira walks around like 230.
I know, bro.
I think the monster. You ever seen his vlogs?
Yeah, when he
He's
weighs
kind of
himself.
cool, man.
I wish I understood Brazilian a little bit more.
Portuguese, man.
Portuguese, yeah, because it'd be entertaining, but I can't understand what the fuck he's saying.
I wish I knew that too, man.
Because his vlogs be fire, man.
His vlogs
He's
be
just like,
fire.
you gotta understand what the fuck he's saying.
Who's a troll?
Well, they should be.
Hey, his English is getting better too.
Facts. Alright, so, just in case it's not heavyweight. If Pereira can't move up to heavyweight, you never know. Dana wasn't a fan of it now. I think because of the John Jones being in the middle. But even if it doesn't happen, there's a lot of options at light heavyweight in the top 5. In my opinion, the best to make is the Magomedov match, the Russian, light heavyweight Russian. Give Pereira a wrestler, see how he does with a true wrestler, a guy that's not, and a guy that got some pretty good hands, you know what I mean? He can stand and bang, he got a couple knockouts, but his wrestling is OP. I feel like he should be next. But a lot of people say, you know, Pereira might be ducking him whatsoever, whatever. But at the end of the day, that man does not want to fight on US soil. He wants it to be in Abu Dhabi, and you know you can't call the shots when you're the challenger, and that's why he didn't get the title shot yet, and that's why he's gonna end up fighting on UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. He's fighting forgot who he's fighting Rochek, I think. He's fighting Rochek UFC 308, and I think the winner of that might even be number 1 contender, but I don't think Pereira's going to Abu Dhabi. He's gonna keep it here, man. So if he's gonna want the fight, man, he's gonna have to do it under Pereira's terms.
You're gonna have to pay the big bucks, man. A lot of people, I see a lot of Russians, man. I mean, they're neighbors to Saudi, so
Yeah.
can't blame them. Like Pirate, he only fights strictly in Saudi. You notice all his fights have been in the Saudi cards. But I think that's a big disadvantage for these fighters, man. I know it's a big to fly from Russia all the way to the U.S. But man, hey, that's where the money's at. That's where the top fights are, and I would be excited for that fight, man. Pereira against him, but I think the better fight is Pereira against John Dolidze.
Oh, rematch.
Rematch. I thought John won that, man. He controlled him in the second. I think he lost the first, but that third was a pretty good toss-up, man. And the judges scored it way more towards Pereira, and it was just a weird judging. And I think if they get a rematch done, man, I'll be good for both of them.
Yeah, that would be a banger, man. I feel like John's been a little like people have been forgotten on him because of that. You know, he kind of got a hold on that. That was Pereira's first fight at light heavyweight too, so Pereira felt the weight difference for sure in that fight. You know, John showed his wrestling and showed that you could take down Pereira. You know, Pereira's ground game ain't the hottest, and you know John exposed it that day. But Pereira ended up getting the dub. But a rematch will be fire. You know, John also beat Adesanya when Adesanya tried to move up to light heavyweight. So John ain't no pushover. That polished power, and I think a rematch will do really good. I feel like John should be next in line. You know, former champion. You know, they fought already. He didn't get knocked out. One of the few people not to get fucking slept by Pereira. So I think that would be a great matchup, man. But for Rountree now, man, if Rountree, you know, in my opinion, he's gonna lose, but he still has a lot of great fights in the top 5. I feel like the top 5 at that division is really good. And a guy I would like to see him fight is a guy who was supposed to fight UFC 303. I think a Jamal Hill matchup with him and Rountree would be a great fight. Two guys that love to stand and bang, and you know,
yeah, that's perfect.
And two of Pereira's victims, in my opinion.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, Rountree only slept.
I think that would be good for Jamal also, man. I think Jamal and Rountree round up, they match up pretty good. Jamal against Jerry, I don't know, man. I don't like that matchup. I think Jerry might have the edge over Jamal. So if Jamal, better hope, man, that Rountree goes out there, puts on a good enough performance for Dana to be like, okay, man, this guy still has a good shot. Just feed him the ex-champ, Jamal Hill. And if he wins, get him back up in that top 3. Maybe another rematch with Pereira. But I think Jamal Hill and Rountree has a banging ass. That's a banging ass match right there. Yeah. Banging match made. Or even give it to Pereira. Jerry's still up there, man. Yeah, Jerry's always gonna be one fight away from that title. He's the king of the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, I thought second best behind obviously Pereira, but yeah, I think that.
Like in the past couple of years, man, he's holding it down, man. Just like I said, man, you cannot fight Pereira with your hands down, man. I don't know why people don't understand that, bro. Boxers against any kind of different fighting stance that doesn't even have your hands up, you're getting slept. You're getting slept, man. You gotta have those hands up. You gotta not stand so spread apart, man. You gotta be in there with the pocket like Pereira does. He waits for that perfect shot, and Jerry was just kind of waiting, hoping to set up something. I don't know, man, but I think he got to really take a couple, like he said, he said take a layoff, take a year off, really focus on his mental health, focus on his training. Like, I think this is gonna set him back pretty good for a great comeback.
But yeah, man, I feel like Alex Pereira has really became the UFC star. It's crazy to think, man. Just a couple years ago, when he first got into UFC, his really only way of getting his name out there was Adesanya. Obviously, the history they've had for Adesanya. But in my opinion, in the UFC GOAT list, I got Pereira ahead of Adesanya now. I think Pereira's done more in his UFC career, more impressively than Adesanya's done. I know Adesanya ran through the middleweight division, but he never got that double champ. He was never able to move up and dominate. And then the fall off he's having right now doesn't look too good.
It doesn't look good, yeah, it doesn't. But man, Adesanya, when he was back in the champ, I'm pretty sure most people would agree with me that Adesanya is actually the better one.
You think so?
I think so. I think as of right now. I still see Alex fighting for another 3 to 5 years.
Me too.
So at the end of those 3 to 5 years, then we'll see. Because right now it's not really fair to compare them like that. But of course, they both have a win over each other in the UFC, which is a battle might not be settled yet.
I know. I really don't know. I would hope to see a trilogy at the light heavyweight division. Or, you know, I remember Pereira he had this planned out, man. He wanted fucking Adesanya to beat DDP so he could fucking beat Adesanya's ass again. Mission failed. DDP got the dub, but he still did the call out picture. He still posted on Instagram. I'm moving down. I want my 185 title back, man. So I don't think that fight is
not over yet.
It's not over yet. It's gonna happen. I think if it is to happen, it's gonna be at middleweight, and Adesanya has to be a champion.
Yeah.
I don't think Adesanya moves up to light heavyweight because that's like a death wish at that point. Fighting Pereira at light heavyweight is too much, man. But at middleweight, Adesanya does have it. I mean, he knocked him out, so you know. That chin a little suspect when Pereira cuts down a little more weight, so I think Adesanya still has a chance. But they definitely need to see a trilogy. We definitely need to see a trilogy before both of them retire.
That'd be badass to see. We need a trilogy on that. But honestly, man, I really want to see what DDP has. I know this isn't light heavyweight division, it's middleweight, but I think DDP might have a chance to beat Pereira, man.
If he moves up,
if he
Pereira
moves up,
down.
man.
Oh,
Dragons is a big middleweight,
yeah,
dude.
he is big, dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the way he fights, I don't know. I think it'd be a pretty good matchup.
Alright, so that's another opponent that could be a DDP could move up, try to go for double challenge Pereira. So
I think he's gonna try to dial walk the division first. I think
yes, he should.
he could probably win a couple more, though. Honestly, I don't think I see him losing. I think he beats. I don't know, man. That Strickland fight. I thought Strickland won that. Obviously, that cut would cause him to fight, made him look like he was losing all that blood gushing out of his face. But I think he won that, man. You should have seen the post conference, bro. Like Dracus couldn't even see out of his eye, man. It was so swollen, and then Strickland went in with just a little cut in his eye, and that's it. Like, I feel bad for this man. That was Strickland, but he's in the training camp now with Pereira.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully that iron sharpens iron, man. So when they both come, they both hate Izzy, they both hate DDP. So they come as a team. One takes out one takes out the other. That'd be pretty badass.
Yeah, we was fire. On the same card?
Yeah.
That would be fire. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today's podcast. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe. UFC 307 going down this weekend. Pereira by knockout. Lock it in, man. Shout out to today's sponsors. We got Crep Protect. Protect your shoes. Keep them clean. And C4, you're going to need it. Saturday, long night of fights. Keep your energy up. C4, best in the game. And link in bio. Go buy yourself an extra t-shirt. Link in bio. And still the champion. Ciao.